This first call was made by Zara, the victim, who first met Aaron back in 2017. Zara claimed that when her and Booth first got together, he was charming when they first met back in 2017, despite the warnings from her friends about his previous behaviour. Zara told officers how Booth was charming when they first met back in 2017, and despite warnings from her friends about his previous behaviour, began a relationship with him in early 2018. The court heard how in May 2018, Booth began drinking excessively as well as taking drugs, and once home he would abuse his victim. She managed to get away from him for about a month, but in July 2018 he persuaded her that he would change, and so she agreed to start seeing him again. Over the months, Zara tried to repeatedly break off the relationship with Aaron. However, each time Booth would bombard her with calls and texts and force her, through emotional blackmail, to retract her complaints made against him. In October 2019, Zara finally plucked up the courage to finally finish it with Aaron and decided to go on a night out with her friends in the town. Unfortunately for Zara, Aaron was following her every step. After the night with her friends, she decided to make her way home and got home around 1 a.m. Not long after Zara got home, Aaron started kicking the door full of alcohol and cocaine.
Hello, police.
Hi, can I have the police, please?
Where are you?
At my house, my boyfriend's breaking into my house.
What's your boyfriend's name?
Aaron Martin, please. He's kicking my door down. Can you hurry up?
Okay, I'm just getting the details. Yeah, I've got the call.
After this call, Aaron went into the kitchen to grab a knife, leaving his victim Zara in a semi-conscious state. Realizing that he had a knife in his hand, Zara managed to run from the house, but Aaron caught up with her, stabbing her repeatedly in the legs and side. When police arrived, they witnessed Aaron stabbing Zara and urged him to put the knife down. Instead, he grabbed the victim, holding the knife to her throat and telling officers he would kill her if they came any closer. Eventually, officers managed to talk Aaron away from his victim, so he walked back into the house in Sumner's Place in Glossop. Locking himself in the property, armed officers were forced into a 3-hour standoff before Aaron eventually threw out his weapon out the window and was arrested. Following the violent attack, Aaron was charged with attempted murder, but he pleaded guilty to Section 18 assault, wounding with intent. He was sentenced to 14 years in prison. He must serve a minimum of 9 years in prison before he can apply for parole, and once he's freed, he must serve 6 years on license. He was also handed an indefinite restraining order which prohibits him from contacting his victim. Should he be convicted of breaching any of the terms of the order, he could be sentenced to 5 years for each breach. Andrew Lee Pearson was 45 years old from Catterick Garrison in North Yorkshire. the former supermarket worker was with his ex-partner Natalie Harker for 18 months before she decided to call off the relationship in August 2018. Andrew couldn't deal with the fact that he wasn't with Natalie anymore, and on the 9th of October, he ambushed Natalie.
Right, Andrew, listen to me. I am going to have to remind you completely, so I need you to pull yourself together, take some deep breaths, and listen to what I'm going to be saying to you, because I need some more questions answering. So stop crying, get a breath, and sort yourself out. All right? Right. Your girlfriend, okay? What exactly happened? No, take a breath, and then answer the question. Because I am totally reliant upon you at the present moment, and I need to know what's going off.
We met down this lane.
I'm not too worried about.
I've been camping for a few days, just chill out in this woodland area. And so I met Natalie. And we went over the field into the wood, and we went for a walk. So there's like an open area, and as we were going down there, she must have slipped and like dragged me, because I remember hitting my back, and then I realised she's in the water, and I just dragged her out. I'm first aid trained, so I did what I could. I thought she was breathing, and then I realised my tent's nearby, so I dragged her into it, and I did what you do. Well, I thought she was breathing at this point, and she seemed okay, like blurry. So we did what I'm trying to do, strip her off, and we got a blanket, and and then I woke up and she was purple.
Stop crying. Stop crying. All right, stop crying. Take a breath. Listen to me. Take a breath. Just take a breath. All right, calm yourself back down again, because I still need more information from you. Okay? Just take a breath. Give yourself a couple of seconds. All right, get your breath back. All right, and I need you to stop crying.
Yeah.
All right, you're back with me again now.
Oh my God.
So you fell asleep, yeah? Woke up. What time did you wake up? Just take your breath. What time did you wake up? Woke up.
I don't know. A friend from America phoned me. I think 4 o'clock or something.
Right, no problems. So she was purple. Did you try CPR again?
She was purple.
No.
Coming out of her mouth.
Just take your breath again. Just take a breath. Slow yourself down. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you woke back up and she was purple, you did not perform any other first aid or anything else?
No, I checked, but she's totally gone. Yeah. I was at the other police aid.
Right, so
I would have to tell you, because it's crossed the field. I'm on the phone to the police now. No, you've got to go across the field. I've got to take you, because I'm heading in. Sorry.
Right, police have arrived with you now.
It's a short walk, and then it's the field. You can't.
Can you put a police officer on the phone for me, please?
Yeah.
It was said that he set up a camouflage tent and lay in wait for Natalie. When Andrew grabbed Natalie, he drowned her, although he alleged that she'd fell in and drowned herself. He then stripped her of all of her clothes and put her in a sleeping bag. It was said that Natalie did have sex, but they couldn't confirm if she was alive or not at the time. Andrew Pearson was convicted of kidnapping and murder and will be serving life in prison with a minimum term of 25 years. Shane Clark was 52 years old from Milton Keynes. Shane and Joanne had been together for about 6 years. Their relationship had been rocky in the months leading up to the murder because Shane thought that Joanne was having an affair. However, there was no evidence to back this up. 52-year-old Shane had been in prison before for 12 years. Him and a friend of his were at a chip shop in Bletchley. They had left the chip shop and walked to a park. Shane then picked up a broomstick and started beating the lad. He got a cutthroat razor and slashed his face. The boy lived but needed 200 plus stitches. Shane always used to brag about this in prison.
Hello, what's happened?
I've just stabbed the missus.
You've what, sorry?
I've just stabbed the missus.
You've what?
I've just stabbed the missus, the partner.
You stabbed your missus?
Yeah.
Is she bleeding?
She's... I think
How
she's
much?
gone.
What do you mean you think she's gone?
I think she's dead, mate.
Is she responding to you?
No, not anymore.
Is she breathing?
No,
She's not breathing at all.
I'm not in the house.
Are you able to go to her?
I'm not in the house anymore.
Can you go to her?
No. So I'm really up.
Can you please go
one
in the house to her? I need to establish whether she's bleeding.
I'm not there.
Can you go into the house?
Yeah.
When police arrived at Joanne's house, she was still barely alive, so they rushed her to hospital. But unfortunately, after 4 days, she died. Joanne, who was described by her friends as a beautiful soul, had been stabbed 29 times with a screwdriver and died from irreparable brain damage. Shane Clark admitted murder and was sentenced to life in prison and to serve a minimum of 20 years. He gave a thumbs up to the judge and could be heard laughing as he was led away. Savannah Brockhill was 28 years old and lived in Morecambe, but more previously she lived in Keighley. She left school at 10 years old, teaching herself from then on, and then began working in her late teens. She worked as a carer before moving into security and on the doors at the Sun pub in Bradford. She was a passionate amateur boxer, and she'd been boxing since she was a child. She even had one amateur fight aged 21 years old, and the goal was to fight in the Olympics. However, injury put an end to that dream. She would also brag about being able to drop men and women on the doors. Savannah identifies as bisexual. She met Frankie Smith, who is Star's mum, in October or November 2019 at the Sun pub when she was at the doors. A couple of weeks later, they got into a relationship, but the relationship was described as obsessive by Smith's family. Over the 16 months of Star's very short life, she was abused nearly every day by Savannah. CCTV footage that was shown in court showed that Savannah was punching and slapping this defenceless baby in her car. On the 22nd of September 2020, it all boiled over. Savannah was left alone with Star in Smith's flat. Smith was in the bathroom. A devastating blow or blows was delivered, a punch, a kick or a stamp into Star's abdomen, causing fatal internal injuries.
Ambulance service, is the patient breathing?
Yeah, she's breathing.
Is she conscious?
Yeah. She's a bit of both, really. Basically, it's my partner's daughter. It's my little girl as well. I brought her up. We've got all three children here playing, and I was in the kitchen making a coffee, and they've been in the living room, and I heard a bang. So I came out, and the little lad stood there, and the little girl's on the floor, and she was crying, and then she stopped crying, and then she was sick, and now she's just a little bit floppy, to be honest with you.
And what do you know what the bang was?
No, I don't know I don't know if she's fallen off of the sofa, or I don't know. Just the three of them playing with us. And
Right.
he just said start, and when I walked in, she was laid on the floor. Shush, darling.
So you heard a bang, the patient was on the floor.
I've heard a bang, yeah. I came in, and the little lad was saying star, which is the little girl.
Yeah.
So I've obviously shouted to mummy to sit up, star. So I sat her up, and I started to rub her back because she was like breathing but like struggling.
Yeah.
So I was rubbing her back. She started to be sick, so I led her on the floor,
Yeah.
put her in like CPR position, started to run her back. She started to lose breath, so I performed CPR on her.
So you've done CPR on her?
Yeah, I've done CPR. I've got her in the position, the recovery position now.
Savannah Brockhill has been found guilty of murdering 16-month-old Star Hobson. She died on the 22nd of September 2020 from catastrophic abdominal injuries caused by a blow or blows to the abdominal area. Savannah Brockhill was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 25 years for the murder of Star Hobson. Star's mother, Frankie Smith, was sentenced to 8 years in prison. On the 15th of March 2022, the Court of Appeal found that the original sentence for Frankie was unduly lenient and increased it to 12 years.